when you relocate to the UK, definitely the standard of living is higher and the cost of buying things is higher. So you may be tempted to be converting everything that you buy to Naira or cedis or wherever you're from in Africa. Don't do it. Don't. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Laju. I'm a Nigerian mom living in the UK. I'm starting this new segment on my YouTube channel to educate people that have questions about life in the UK, immigrating to the UK. If you have questions about this, then please stick with me, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. As you may be aware, the UK has announced a new visa policy for healthcare workers, which will take effect from August, we're already in August. And this means that more healthcare workers can relocate to the UK to work and live. So things are about to get pretty interesting. And on that note, I've decided to share some tips on things you should know before you make the move. Let's get right to it. Today, I'll be sharing with you 5 things you need to know before you relocate to the UK as a healthcare worker. Or even if you're a student, I think anyone planning to relocate to the UK will benefit from this. So let's start. 1. First concern for most people that want to relocate is accommodation. You're planning to leave your country, your comfort zone, and you're planning to move to another country. So you're worried about accommodation. Where are we going to stay? Where am I going to live? So yeah, there is no hard or fast rule about this. It depends on you. You can either go the renting way or you go the family and friends way. If you decide to stay with friends or family before moving to the UK, then you should plan ahead. I would advise that this is a good way to move. You can, you have a soft landing. You have people that you are familiar with that you can settle, in with them just for a while. But always plan ahead. Let them know, are you staying for a month or 2? Don't let it be too long term. It also depends on you. If your relationship is very close and you want to stay there forever, nothing stops you really. It also helps you to save really. But I would advise that if you're staying on a long-term basis, then you should plan involve yourself in the house bills, house chores, buy groceries so that you don't become a liability to that family. But if you decide to rent, that's also fine. Now, if you decide to rent, there are some things that will be required of you if you want to rent a house in the UK as a newcomer. Now, you need to have proof of employability, proof of your residence permit. So they need to know that you are employed and you have probably your biometric resident permit or your visa, something to show commitment. Now, I should also add, if you're a healthcare worker, especially a doctor, agents, renting agents or housing agents, they love you. Like if there are about 10 people bidding for a house, trying to get a house, and you come and say you're a doctor, trust me, you are more likely to get it above anyone else. Why? Because they have confidence that doctors will pay their rent. You get what I mean? Especially in times like this when people are losing their jobs and all, but doctors are still always in employment. So being a doctor or in the healthcare sector is always an advantage when it comes to renting accommodation. For us, when we were ready to rent a place, we had to contact our former housing agent to inform them, and we gave their details to the new agents in the UK. So they contacted them, and thank God they gave us a good review. So wherever you are right now, whether back home in Africa, just make sure you're being good to your landlord or your housing agent and you're paying your rent, because trust me, you will need them in the future, especially if you're relocating. You can even start with an Airbnb. I don't really know how things are now with COVID and all, but normally Airbnb is available to everyone. So if you have the money, why not? You don't want to inconvenience anybody. You can start off a few weeks on Airbnb, but I'm sure it's going to cost a lot. And after that, you can then move along. But the option I wanted to mention is the shared accommodation option. I spoke to a few friends who have done this, that they went through the shared accommodation. If you're coming as an individual and you're not bringing family and you don't have anybody else to stay with, I think you can go this route. You can find some information. There are websites where you can find houses in the UK. This is not an advert, but we have Rightmove and Zoopla. For shared accommodation, one of the tips that someone offered is try to avoid staying with the house owners, because you won't be comfortable. Try to share the accommodation with other renters. Do you understand that? Not with the landlord, because if you are living with your landlord, it's like living with your father all over again. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's one tip I think you can take away from that. So that's all on accommodation. If you have any more questions about this, please do let me know. I'll be sharing more about this in the future. Another thing that you should know before you move to the UK is about finances in terms of banks. Now, which banks can you open when you move to the UK? Now, this was a topic that no one really told us anything about, and we thought we could just go into any bank and open a bank account. But trust me, it doesn't work that way. Most banks, like every bank in the UK, they want you to show proof of address. And how would you show proof of address when you're just relocating, into a new country and you don't even have an address. For instance, you're staying with friends or family, and they need you to show something like an utility bill or anything that has your UK address on it before they can open a bank account for you. Now, we went on a goose chase for this because we went to every bank. My husband was particular about Barclays, Premiership, Barclays. They turned him back, sadly. But the good news is that HSBC, like I said, this is not an advert, but HSBC UK, they are very, friendly when it comes to this. They open accounts for anybody. We didn't know that earlier, so I'm hoping that this helps somebody. If you need to open a bank like ASAP, HSBC UK is very convenient for that. What other banks may do for you is that they ask you to bring your proof of address. The employers are like private agencies. You can ask them to, write a letter for you as regards this and put their address as your address in the meantime you get. So I've heard quite a number of people do that also. So you can open other accounts. Some banks may take it, some banks may not. So your employer or your agent writes on your behalf and they put their address as your temporary address. Do you understand that? So I hope this helps also. Another thing I want to say about finances is that when you relocate to the UK, definitely the standard of living is higher and the cost of buying things is higher. So you may be tempted to be converting everything that you buy to Naira or cedis or wherever you're from in Africa. Don't do it. Don't think you should know before you relocate to the UK as regards work and all to settle in the UK is food. You may be wondering, would I get my African food? Where would I buy my food? What food can I bring? I'm sure you're tempted to pack everything and bring everything, but I'll just advise you, chill out. You don't have to pack everything. Everything that is in Africa is also in the UK. There are stores where you can buy everything that you have back home. Maybe not everything, but most things. It also depends on your location. If you're in the metropolitan city, like cities like London or Manchester, Birmingham, those kind of places, you tend to find everything that you need. If you are in the smaller towns or villages, you may have a little bit of difficulty getting some of these things. I should announce there's now a website that for African businesses, so you can check them out, upsquares.com. I'll put their link somewhere up or below, so you can check them out and find African businesses near you. It's pretty, their border security is not as strict as you see on TV, like Australian borders and the rest. So yeah, but maybe beans, you can pack beans. Beans is pretty expensive here, but the truth is you will still find anything that you want, and with time you'll just go on with the flow. You may not even be eating African food that much, but if you want to, there are people selling African food. Yes, they are more expensive than back home. Just don't overdo when it comes to food. You would always find a place to buy food when you relocate to the UK. The next thing is childcare. Now, this is for people that are coming with families. If you have, you're married and you have children and you're planning to relocate with them or without them, you should plan ahead for childcare, because childcare in the UK is worth planning. Now, if your children are above the age of 4, primary or secondary school level, that's brilliant. Education is free, so for kids that are above 4 years of age. If you are coming with your partner, that helps. You guys can plan how you manage childcare. So if you're coming with kids less than 4 years of age, the age group where you still have to, plan and pay for childcare. So you can plan with your partner. You guys can, who will be responsible. Or if both of you are going to be working, like health workers, a doctor or both doctors, that's brilliant. You can both afford to pay, for the childcare. Yeah, it's a lot, but you may not feel it as much as if only one person is paying for childcare, if you get what I mean. So it really depends on you guys, but this video is just to help you know that childcare is worth planning. You want to know who would be in charge of the kids, or if you want to have it the other way, whereby somebody still stays behind while you move ahead, try to save up a bit more before the other party joins you. Or both parties, when you relocate, both parties have to start work immediately, find work somewhere. There's a lot to think of when it comes to childcare. If you have family or friends around that are willing to help, brilliant. That even makes your life easier. But you just into consideration. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's definitely workable. There are families with children and they're all doing fine. Though you tend to find a lot of stay-at-home moms or stuff like that, or even stay-at-home dads over here in the UK, because one person is staying back to stay with the kids until they are of school age before they now move on. So yeah, that's it on childcare. The final thing I'll be talking about today is transportation. Now, if you have come to the UK before, or maybe for your PLAB exams, for instance, you're a doctor, you would realize that transportation in the UK is on the high side. One of the advantages that UK has that I like is their transportation network. It is very detailed, it is very structured. So you can be in the UK forever and never buy a car, because their transportation, they just have it organized from walking to buses to taxis to trains. The network is really, well planned. So you can decide not to ever buy a car if you move to the UK. You decide to, I'll be sharing more about this in my future video. So another reason for you to subscribe. What I would advise as regards transportation is, when you first come, one of the things that you can do, if you can get accommodation that is very close to work, so that you reduce the cost of transportation by doing that. But if you can't, probably you're living with a friend or family that it's not very close, you can try getting maybe rail cards. So this gives these rail cards, you get discounts on them. There are lots of rail cards. You have family network rail cards, you have two together rail cards, you have different types of bundles. But the point is, if you buy a rail card, you save cost with it. You get, and even bus passes. So depending on where you are, you can find out about their bus passes. You can buy it for a month. So all you have to do is just tap. You don't have to be paying every time you enter a bus, and you save on that. So different locations, different cities have and towns, they have their own structure and all. So you can find out about that. I think that's all for today's video, and you want more of this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to share. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.